All right, now that we completed the linear regression on the TI tips on page 177, the next part is the residual plots. And I have to tell you that I have found that students in the past have struggled with that, so I'm glad to make a video for you. Now that we've got all of our data in the calculator and we've got our year and tuition lists, going and making the residual plot is not all that bad. One of the things the calculator does is after we run linreg or linear regression, it creates another list, and unfortunately I can't show it to you right now. I think the list is in there, but I don't see it. And I suspect many of you may have the same issue, that it's not there. It turns out, I believe that we can reference it and plot the data from that list anyways. The list is called Resid. And basically what that list, that third list is, it's all of the actual y values minus the predicted y values, which is the definition of a residual. So these are all y values right here. These are all actual y values. And if we plugged in these x values, these years, into the equation that we got over here at y equals, let me see if I can, let me see if I can do y equals. Let's get out of there. Let's go second quit. Y equals that equation that we came up with. If we plug in the x value into each of those, then we'll get the predicted y value. Otherwise, if we go back here, let's get out of here for a sec. If we go back here to our data, the to it is the actual y values. So the resid is just these values minus whatever you would get if you plug these x values into that equation that we came up with. Supposedly there's a column in there. I have found sometimes I can just go and type resid here and then all the data shows up. Again, the resid column is automatically calculated if you run linreg. So let's just take a look and let's try. Actually, I'm gonna pause the video for a second and see if I can get it to work. Oh, before I pause the video, I wanted to make sure that you know how to type in the letters. I'm going to go hit second and then alpha, and so that'll lock the letters in so that I only get letters when I type these keys. And now I can go and begin to type the letters for resid. And let's see here. This is not taking that long, so I'm just going to do it. And there we go. And then hit enter. And then, hey, it actually worked. There the data is. Why it was hidden, I have no idea, but you may find the same thing on your calculator. Okay, now that we've got all that, now we should be able to plot the data. So we're going to go second mode to quit, and then second y equals, and so we can see these plots. Now, I'm going to leave plot 1 with as a scatter plot. But I'm going to take plot 2 and I'm going to put the residual plot in there. So let's do that. So first I'm going to go ahead and go into plot 1 and turn it off. And then I'm going to go second quit to back out. And we'll go back to second stat plot. And then we'll go down to plot 2. Again, I'm doing this in plot 2 because plot 1 is already configured. It already has year and to it as lists, and it's already set up to be a scatter plot. So I want to leave that there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on this to be a scatter plot, plot 2, and my x list will be the same x list as before. It'll be years. So let me see if I can find that. Second stat. And here's all my lists. Somewhere down there is years. Could have hit 7. No, that 7 would not be a good way to go. Okay, oops, a little too fast. There we go, there's years. So that's my X list, years. And then and by the way, I don't know whether it works if you simply type YR. I think it's best to go second stat and get the list from there. Same with L1, L2. Don't type L then 1. Go and get the list from here. So anyways, for the or you can do second and one of these guys down there. Those work also for list 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the Y list this time is going to be resid because now we want X versus the residuals. That's what a residual plot is. So I'm going to go second stat, and we can see that there's resid That's the list name. And I went too far. There it is. So voila, that's now my Y list. So now I'm going to go and try to graph. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit graph. There will be a little problem is that I still have that line there, and it's gonna. But let's take a look at the scatter plot. So I'll go zoom, and then we'll go 9 to zoom stat. And there is the data. And if you look in the book on page 178, you'll see that my scatter plot looks just like theirs. This is the scatter plot of the residual data. It's known as a residual plot. If I want to get rid of that other line that you saw being graphed, I can go to y equals. Let me go ahead and second quit this first. Y equals, and there's my line. If I want to make it so that line appears or disappears, I don't have to delete the y equals. All I do is I go over to the equal sign, and on the equal sign, when it's flashing, if I hit enter, it turns that line off, so it's no longer displayed. And if I come back and I go on that equal and I hit enter again, then it turns the line on, so it is displayed. So I'm going to leave the line on because I might want to go back and forth between my scatter plot and the residual plot. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to go graph, and there's my residual plot, and then I'm going to go second, stat plot, and then we're going to go and, by the way, I'm going to try to show you a little trick. We're going to go back to graph. No, it's not there. Maybe it's under y equals. Let's go second, quit, y equals. There it is. Under y equals offers a quick way to turn your scatter plots on and off. Notice at the top, plot 1 is not on and plot 2 is on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter for plot 2. That'll turn it off. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter for plot 1, and that'll turn it on. Now if I go back and look at my graph, it's not going to look right because it's not zoomed in properly. But if I zoom it, zoom stat by hitting 9, there we go. I get my actual scatter plot of my actual data and my line of best fit. And now if I want to go back, and let's get out of this and go back to, actually we said we're going to do y equals. So I'll go back up here, turn plot 1 off, turn plot 2 on, and then we're going to go and graph that baby. And again, I get the wrong graph, so we'll zoom stat with 9. And there we go. And there's our residual plot. And by the way, what we will maybe in another video, maybe in a Zoom session, maybe through a Participeti video, we'll talk about how to interpret the residual plots. The residual plot is important because a linear model is not appropriate for all data, and the residual plot helps us to determine whether a linear model is appropriate. Basically, the rule is that if the scatter plot looks rather random, then a linear model is probably okay. If it looks like there's a distinct pattern to the residual plot, then it's entirely possible that a linear model is not appropriate and some other model is. So, anyways, we did it. Hopefully you got through this. Try going back and forth between the different stat plots. Get a feel for the year list and the tuition list and the residual list. Make sure you're comfortable with those things. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Have a great day, people.